Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of Martial Universe episode number 14 based on novel. So let's start. While Lin Dong was showered with attention, in the abyss of the Lin clan, Lin Langtian descended slowly onto his huge courtyard with a forlorn look. His eyes were burning with fury. Eventually, he could no longer suppress the rage within him, and with a slap, he blew up a particular stone table to dust. That little prick. I really regret not slapping him to death in that old tomb that time. Lin Langtian clenched his jaw. His voice was filled with strong killing intent. This lad is extraordinary. Within these 2 years, he must have encountered some kind of miracle to make such great progress, said a distinct hoarse voice suddenly. This voice actually came from within Lin Langtian's body, coming off as extremely eerie. That little prick's manifestation martial art is really too strong. I am afraid that martial art is what you sense that time. Lin Langtian said coldly, that manifestation martial tablet spirit is well concealed. The other day, I could only sense the presence of an extremely powerful martial art somewhere. That martial art can only be obtained by making contact with the tablet spirit. That lad must have some kind of unique artifact with him, which allows him to communicate with the tablet spirit and obtain that mystical martial art, said the hoarse voice. This little prick is too much of a threat to me, he must be exterminated. Lin Langtian roared, with his eyes surged with killing intent. Together, you and me, killing him is not difficult. However, it is difficult to carry out this task in the Lin city. The moment I act, the Nirvana stage fighters will sense my presence and my existence will then be exposed. Lin Langtian frowned his eyebrows. Just as he was about to talk, a faint beam of light flashed over from afar, which he caught it in one swipe. A bunch of faint voices, bounded by the Yuan power, was transmitted into his ear. As he listened to the conversation in the Yuan power, Lin Langtian's eyes stoned slightly. There was a moment of silence, followed shortly by a sinister aura of killing intent flowing through his eyes. So they want that lad to participate in the Battle of Seeds. It's okay, this may be a good opportunity for me. If this troublemaker dares to go, I will make sure he has no chance of returning. You are too soft to compete with me. Lin Langtian's somber and wintry voice echoed eerily throughout the courtyard. You are Elder Lin Mu. Looking at the purple-robed elder's seemingly familiar face, Lin Zhentian questioned uncertainly, after hesitating for a while. He was slightly overwhelmed by the hospitality of the purple-robed elder. In those days, while he was still in the clan, the purple-robed elder was already a clan elder of an extraordinary status. What surprised him was that the latter still remembered his name. During that time, we had to punish you because of a mission failure. I hope you don't blame the clan, the purple-robed elder, whose name was Lin Mu, explained. I don't dare. During that time, I am indeed responsible for that mission failure. Lin Zhentian smiled bitterly while shaking his head. He knew that given Lin Mu's status in the clan at that time, he was not qualified to talk to him. Now, it was all because Lin Dong was part of their family that Lin Mu would talk to them with such kind words. After today, I will pass down the instructions to reinstate your status in the clan. As for whether you want to stay in the clan or return to Yang City, that's totally up to your decision, Lin Mu grinned. Thanks a lot, Elder Lin Mu. Lin Zhentian nodded his head after he heard what was said. His wish for the past few decades had finally come true. For a moment, he was choked with emotions. Lin Dong seemed to know that the old man was surging with emotions. He patted lightly on Lin Zhentian's shoulder and said softly, Grandfather, all of you have a rest in the Lin city first. As for the future plans, we will think through again before making any decisions. I will follow Elder Lin Mu for now then. Okay, be careful. Lin Zhentian nodded his head and replied composedly while looking contently at the youth who was much taller than himself. Lin Dong smiled and nodded his head. After bidding Lin Xiao and his counterparts farewell, Lin Dong turned around. Lin Mu, who was also smiling, prepared to lead the way. As both of them walked along the tremendously huge Lin clan, there were numerous clan members giving them various kinds of strange looks along the way. This time, however, those looks no longer contained traces of haughtiness and mockery. After today's epic battle, whoever dared to despise this fierce warrior must be a fool. Lin Dong, it is unexpected that the branch families can produce such an outstanding talent. Lin Mu was leading the way ahead when he suddenly turned his head and laughed. Lin Dong smiled, but did not say anything more about this issue. He did not want anyone to find out about his secret. Every 20 years, the top factions in the Great Yang Empire will have a battle. Of course, this doesn't mean starting a war but rather, a tournament. Every faction will send their younger generation's most outstanding individual to participate in this tournament. This is the Great Yang Empire's first-class tournament, which is also called the Battle of Seeds. Those who qualify for the Battle of Seeds are all monstrous individuals, and given their extraordinary backgrounds, they are the finest talents among the Great Yang Empire's younger generation. Initially, the Lin clan has decided to send only Lin Langtian, yet unexpectedly, you have distinguished yourself out of the rest. Hence, if you are interested, you can participate in the Battle of Seeds too. Lin Fan chuckled. After hearing what he said, Lin Dong gently furrowed his brows. He did not have much interest in such obscure battle. Even though it sounded captivating to be able to compete with the Great Yang Empire's top talents, he was not some madman who was full of battle lust. I wonder if have you heard of the Great Yang Empire's sacred spirit pool? Lin Fan smiled faintly. Sacred spirit pool. Lin Dong was startled. Soon after, his eyes lit up. He had definitely heard of it. Even a large number of fighters in the Great Yang Empire had heard of it. However, not many people actually saw this legendary pool with their own eyes. Reportedly, the sacred spirit pool was made up of blood from ancient mystical beasts. By bathing in it, not only would it boost one's power considerably, but more importantly, it could also increase the success rate of attaining Nirvana stage. Everyone knew there were numerous dangers in the journey to breakthrough to Nirvana stage. Even after thorough preparations, there was still a chance of failure. As such, the mystical powers of the sacred spirit pool were so captivating to those who wanted to attain Nirvana stage. Is there really a sacred spirit pool in the Great Yang Empire? Lin Dong queried suspiciously. For a long time, he had heard of it, but never had he once acknowledged its existence. Things happen for a reason. The sacred spirit pool does exist, it's just that ordinary people can't find and see it for themselves. Today, the sacred spirit pool is under the shared control of all the top factions in the Great Yang Empire. However, as the sacred spirit pool's Ling liquid replenish at a sluggish rate, it cannot satisfy the needs of every factions. Naturally, some disputes have arisen because of this. The best way to settle these disputes is through the Battle of Seeds. Every top faction will send their most outstanding younger generation member to participate. The last 5 individuals standing will then be qualified to enter the sacred spirit pool. Are you interested in the Battle of Seeds now? Lin Fan broke into a laughter after he spoke. Upon listening to these words, Lin Fan was startled and he stared at Lin Dong. After a moment, his face darkened gradually before he said solemnly, after coming out of the sacred spirit pool, these 5 individuals will represent the Great Yang Empire and participate in the 100 Empire War. The 100 Empire War. As he heard these 4 words, Lin Dong's head raised abruptly, the fists in his sleeves clenched tightly and his eyes lit up. This was the first time Lin Dong lost his manners in front of Lin Fan. The memories from 2 years ago surged out from his head instantly. The romance at the ancient tomb etched the alluring image of that beautiful girl deeply in his heart. An intriguing air of grandeur surrounded that girl. Like an angel who had fallen from the sky, she was devoid of any impurities. Ling Qingzhu. Such a noble and refined name. Lin Dong was born with an obstinate and domineering personality. Ling Qingzhu was the first woman in his life. Even though their relationship was complicated, Lin Dong was not someone who would take advantage of others. He knew that, the moment Ling Qingzhu saved him from the hands of Wang Yang, he wanted this woman for himself. Even though the efforts he put in all these years were motivated by Lin Langtian, but at the same time, it was also due to the existence of a beautiful image of that woman in Lin Dong's mind. Lin Dong knew that her identity was extraordinary. She looked indifferent on the surface, but deep within her, she was filled with icy arrogance. Even a talented individual like Lin Langtian could not impress her. It was hard to imagine what kind of man would truly win her heart. However, no matter how hard it would be, Lin Dong would not give up easily. That was because he did not want this woman to lie in the arms of another man. If you want to return this favor, wait until you make it to the 100 Empire War first. Will it suffice if I am to distinguish myself out of the rest in the 100 Empire War? Barely enough. However, I don't think that you can make it that far. I am not doubting your ability, but rather, it is a reality that you can't change regardless of whether you accept it or not. That day will come. By then, I will once stand before you again, and tell you that the woman whom I slept with will be mine. Lin Dong reminisced as his mind wandered off to the mountain peak, where the teenager laughed recklessly yet with a serious attitude 2 years ago. For the past 2 years, the 4 words, the 100 Empire War, had been imprinted in his mind. He knew that this battle would be 100 times harder than defeating Lin Langtian, but he had yet to give up. Today, he finally gained some information regarding this mysterious 100 Empire War. Lin Dong took in a deep breath of cold air, with his eyes fixated on Lin Fan, who was left flabbergasted by Former's antics. A determined look then swiped across Lin Dong's face. All right, I will participate. Ling Qingzhu, just you wait. Clan leader, can you explain what exactly is the 100 Empire War? Lin Dong looked at Lin Fan and asked. He was particularly curious about this so-called 100 Empire War. The 100 Empire War, as the name implies, is the battle among hundreds of empires. Lin Fan nodded his head. He then chuckled. Lin Dong, do you know what lies beyond the Great Yang Empire? I'm not sure. Lin Dong smiled bitterly. Even though he learned a lot in the past 2 years, he only knew there were other empires outside of the Great Yang Empire. As for the detailed information, he knew nothing at all. After all, in his opinion, today's Great Yang Empire was vast enough. A lot of people spent their entire lifetime in the Great Yang Empire. What lay beyond this empire were far too alien and distant. The land we are on is called the Xian region. The Xian region is being divided into 4 continents, the East, West, South and North. Our Great Yang Empire is located on the East Xian continent. Lin Fan explained leisurely. Xian region, East Xian continent. Lin Dong muttered to himself. Even though he did not really understand the idea, he could sense that the vast Great Yang Empire in his eyes was not even worth mentioning when it was being put on the map. As for the remaining 3 continents, I too have limited knowledge on them. After all, just the East Xian continent alone, even the Nirvana stage fighters have difficulty flying over it, and its territories are unimaginably vast. There were countless empires in it, and the rise and fall of empires occur almost every day. Among these empires, the Great Yang Empire is just like one of the many stars in the vast sky. Lin Dong's hands trembled slightly, with a sense of extreme fear deep within his eyes. He had never thought that the legitimate overlord of East Continent would be those nature-defying super sects, instead of some empires. The 100 Empire War is organized by those super sects. Yeah, Lin Fan nodded his head. He then continued, those super sects want to bring in new blood. However, not any mediocre person can enter those kind of powerful organizations. Therefore, through the 100 Empire War, if you are able to distinguish yourself from the rest, then maybe you will be qualified to enter those super sects. When that moment comes, and because of you, the entire Great Yang Empire will be protected. Those surrounding empires, which are the Great Yang Empire covetously, will not dare to do anything imprudent. One person is enough to protect an entire empire. Lin Dong felt incredulous and questioned, ha, if you can make it to those super sects, you are at least a Nirvana stage fighter by then. By going a step further, you may even wipe out an entire empire with one hand. Let alone the task of protecting an empire, there will be no objections even if you become the emperor of those empires. The world outside of Great Yang Empire is not what you have seen before, Lin Fan chuckled heartily. Furthermore, if you can make it to those super sects, the Lin clan will be rewarded luxuriously. Do you know why the Lin clan is able to sustain the longevity of the Great Yang Empire and possess such an abundance of resources at the same time? That is because 200 years ago, one of the Lin clan's ancestor had successfully distinguished himself in the 100-Year War. In the end, he was admitted to one of those super sects, and the rewards bestowed upon the Lin clan had kept us amongst the elite in the Great Yang Empire for 200 years. At this point, there was some dizziness in Lin Dong's head. The reason why Lin clan could tower over the Great Yang Empire was because of the rewards bestowed when an ancestor was accepted into a super sect. How terrifying could those super sects be? This is a battle to select the best out of all the finest talents in the East Xian continent. Currently, the task of rising above this sea of talents would be challenging even for Lin Dong, who felt the burdens on his shoulders. The old man in linens whom I saw last time said he was from the 9 Heavens Supreme Purity Palace. If I'm not wrong, that must be one of the super sects in the East continent. Lin Dong recalled his encounter with the old man in linens. Little Martin once said that, given the old man's capability, he could only be an ordinary expert in the 9 Heavens Supreme Purity Palace. Such a formidable sect truly deserved to be described by the word super. Ha. It is still too early to discuss about the 100 Empire War now. We will give you the detailed information about the 100 Empire War after you have successfully passed the Battle of Seeds. Lin Fan smiled while sipping his refreshing tea and looking at Lin Dong, who was still digesting the shocking information. Lin Dong nodded his head slightly. Now, he should focus on the first event, Battle of Seeds, instead of the 100 Empire War. If he could not even pass the Battle of Seeds, there was no need to think about the 100 Empire War. Within the Great Yang Empire, other than the 4 great clans and the royal family, there are powerful sects with a solid base that can participate in the Battle of Seeds. These sects have strong and solid foundations, and they are as powerful as the 4 great clans. Amongst these sects, some of their ancestors have successfully distinguished themselves in the 100 Empire War, Lin Fan explained. There is still 1 month left before the Battle of Seeds. You can use this time to train. Furthermore, since you are the clan champion, we will not mistreat you. Tomorrow, you shall visit the clan trove and see if you are destined for any treasures, Lin Fan smiled. Lin Dong nodded his head again. He had huge interest in the clan trove. If he were to obtain the earthly soul treasure, his power would definitely increase greatly. This would increase his chances when he participated in the Battle of Seeds. After discussing a great deal of matters, Lin Dong had no interest in staying on any longer. He then gave Lin Fan a bow and turned around to leave the meeting hall. Clan leader, do you think Lin Dong can successfully pass through the Battle of Seeds? After all, his opponents aren't mediocre individuals, Lin Mu whispered as he gazed upon Lin Dong's distant figure. Lin Fan grinned and put down the teacup in his hand. He then muttered, to be able to make it this far with his branch family's limited resources, Lin Dong is definitely no mediocre individual. As for the battle of seats this time around, we will have a good show to watch. The next day, before dawn broke, Lin Dong had already finished his training. Today, he was going to visit the Lin clan's clan trove. With regards to this matter, he had shown great interest. The Lin clan's foundations were extremely strong, as such, there would certainly be numerous mystical artifacts within the clan trove. Besides, he was lacking a soul treasure now. Hence, with this opportunity to enter the clan trove, he must obtain some sort of benefits, no matter what. Lin Dong walked out of the tranquil courtyard and followed the path to where he was supposed to meet Elder Lin Mu. On the way there, he had met many members of Lin clan. However, upon seeing him, most people began to clear the way for him while their eyes were filled with confusion and discretion. However, Lin Dong did not pay much attention to these gazes. Making a turn right in front of the path he was walking on, a training field came into sight. The training field was where the members of Lin clan trained every day. Even though it was still early in the morning, there were already several young boys and girls training in the field. The sudden appearance of Lin Dong caused the entire field to quieten down. At this moment, an unusual look conceived on the faces of the usually arrogant clan members. However, there were no signs of contempt or mockery on their faces. Yesterday's epic battle must have shaken off their arrogance thoroughly. How could they take advantage of Lin Dong when even a powerful individual like Lin Langtian had failed to do so? However, Lin Dong had no interest in dealing with these clan members and left the place directly. As he watched Lin Ji and his counterparts went up the pavilion to monitor Lin Dong, Lin Mu folded his eyebrows. He stayed there for a moment before turning around and left the place. On the top level of the pavilion, a ghastly smirk flashed across Lin Ji's old and wrinkled face as he gazed upon the distant figure of Lin Mu. He then turned his head and asked, "Have you done what I told you to do?" "It has been settled. If Lin Dong wants to find any exquisite treasures, he will have to travel to the depths of the clan trove. A lot of arrays have been placed there. As long as he steps foot in there, we can control the arrays from the dark and secretly kill him. When that moment comes, we will just say that guy is too greedy." In order to obtain a mystical artifact, he tried to break the arrays by brute force, leading to the loss of his life ultimately. This plan is flawless. Even if the clan leader is suspicious, he will not be able to find any evidence. A pale white-faced elder sneered, "Okay." After hearing what was said, a satisfied smile appeared on Lin Ji's grim face. He stared at the door of the clan trove with a ghastly killer intent in his eyes. A country bumpkin, who comes from a branch family, dares to think about gaining a foothold in the clan. How can it be so easy? Since you don't know what's good for you, let me show you how complex this clan is. As Lin Dong stepped through the stone door, an intense ray of light shone directly on his face. Like a conditioned reflex, his eyes squinted tightly. After a moment, as he began to adapt to the bright light, he raised his head and glanced around the area. There was an extremely huge cavern right in front of Lin Dong. The cavern was shrouded with canopies of light. A few hundred feet above the cavern, there were some small holes where rays of sunlight spilled through, further intensifying the radiance in the area. The cavern was extremely vast and long. When Lin Dong tried to gaze far into the cavern, he could not even see the end. "Is this the Lin clan's clan trove?" Lin Dong mumbled to himself. He swiped his palm across the space in front of him. Shortly, a surprised look flashed across his eyes. He could feel the yuan power here was a lot stronger than outside. Could these be the treasures within clan trove? Lin Dong looked at the canopies of light around him. Within those canopies of light, there were clusters of radiance, and each cluster encased a piece of soul treasure. These barely made Lin Dong raise his eyebrows. Even the quality of the best of these treasures was merely above average. Given Lin Dong's current status, these treasures did not pose much allure to him. The real energy waves of the treasures are in the depths of the clan trove. Without any hesitation, Lin Dong picked up his footsteps and walked towards the depths of the clan trove. Relying on his extraordinary mental energy, he could sense the energy waves of spiritual abilities coming from the depths of the clan trove. That might be the earth soul treasures that he had been yearning for in his dreams. Since now he was inside the treasure trove, there was no way he was going to return empty-handed. If that old fogey was really tactless, Lin Dong would not mind using violence against him. All the while, he knew that violence was the solution to anything, anywhere. And now, he clearly had the capabilities to teach that old fogey a lesson. However, Lin Dong lost interest after having a rough glimpse of the radiance from those treasures, and continued on the path towards the depths of the clan trove without stopping. The area of the clan trove was reasonably huge. It took Lin Dong half an hour of wandering before reaching the deeper region. The deeper region of the clan trove had a totally different environment from the exterior. There were multiple rays of brilliance outlining paths of light, and at the end of each path, there was a stone altar, which was engulfed by a glowing radiance. Floating atop those stone altars were various kinds of powerful soul treasures, elixirs, martial arts and etc. As he reached the deeper region, Lin Dong discovered that the concentration of Yuan power there had reached a terrifying level. Some of the Yuan power had begun to congregate into thin clouds, which shocked Lin Dong. He glanced around and noticed that there seemed to be several small holes on the ground and surroundings. The high concentration of Yuan power in the area was caused by these small holes, which were constantly producing these Yuan power. Beneath the clan trove, there is a tremendously huge formation, which is constantly absorbing Yuan power from the heaven and earth, and pumping them into this area. These Yuan power are then used to nurture these treasures, little Martin's voice echoed in Lin Dong's mind. It appeared for a short while before returning to the stone talisman, as it was afraid that there might be magical surveillance in this area. There seems to be traces of pure Yuan pills in these Yuan power, Lin Dong exclaimed shockingly, as he took in two breath of the cloud-like Yuan power. No wonder Elder Lin Mu wants me to make full use of the opportunity. After obtaining the soul treasure, I will train here, and see if I can take advantage of the concentrated Yuan power here, to break through to initial manifestation stage. After this thought came up in his mind briefly, Lin Dong moved his feet once more and followed the path of light. At this moment, on both sides of Lin Dong, there were smaller paths of light extending from the one he was standing on. At the end of these smaller paths, there were various treasures. However, Lin Dong lost interest after a mere glance. Right now, he was only enticed by the earthly soul treasures. As for the Lin clan's martial arts and even manifestation martial arts, he had not a bit of interest in them. After all, manifestation martial arts could be classified as low, average or high. The clan manifestation martial art, Great Heavenly Phoenix Seal, that Lin Langtian displayed the other day was at most a low-grade manifestation martial art. Meanwhile, according to his conjecture, Lin Dong's Great Desolate Imprisoning Heavenly Finger would be a high-grade manifestation martial art if he could truly master it. By then, every movement he made would be an earth-shattering one. Therefore, even though Lin Dong came across a few powerful Lin clan martial arts on the path of light, he never lingered and continued walking on. After approximately 10 minutes, the path ahead suddenly expanded before a huge canopy of light appeared in front of Lin Dong. Lin Dong's footsteps stopped outside the canopy of light. He then muttered to himself for a moment before putting his foot out slowly. The Yuan power in his body began to engage rapidly, preparing him for any abrupt circumstances. The event he foresaw did not occur. The formations that surrounded the canopy of light continued to float peacefully without any activities. However, there was a strong restricting force emanating from the space in front of the canopy, as if it was trying to push Lin Dong away. These restrictive forces appeared to be coming from the four soul treasures inside the canopy of light, and their combined force did not lose out to an advanced manifestation practitioner. However, this pressure posed little obstacle to Lin Dong. His footsteps remained steady as he slowly walked across that glowing canopy and approached the four glowing orbs. As Lin Dong stepped closer, the four light orbs released a weird buzzing sound as if they sensed something. The restricting force suddenly intensified and pushed back Lin Dong, forcing him to take a step back. These are indeed earthly soul treasures. Instead of feeling angry, Lin Dong was overjoyed upon witnessing what had happened. The harder these soul treasures resisted, the more powerful they were. Anyway, these are just soul treasures, Lin Dong laughed in his heart. Suddenly, his body jolted and a wave of scorching heat rose through it, dissipating the strong restrictive force in the process. Lin Dong then took a few strides and broke through the canopy of light thoroughly. In a flash, Lin Dong was right in front of the four light orbs. In the meantime, while Lin Dong was being attacked by the formations, the elders stationed at the pavilion outside of the clan trove were looking indifferently at a light screen in front of them. The light screen was showing exactly what was going on in the clan trove. The scene of Lin Dong's retaliation was captured by it too. Let's work together and control the formations to kill him. Lin Ji sneered ghastly while looking at the light screen. As long as the four of us work together, we can put up a fight even if it is against a practitioner who had reached the peak of the manifestation stage. Finally, he followed the path to a stone pavilion before he saw that Lin Mu was already waiting there. Immediately, he smiled apologetically, before the latter just grinned and waved it off. Come, follow me. Usually, the clan trove is considered a restricted area in the Lin clan. Only men who have contributed meritorious services to the Lin clan are qualified to enter the clan trove and seek the treasures that they desire. Within the clan trove, there are many mystical artifacts, which were rewarded and passed down by that super sect when that particular ancestor performed spectacularly in the 100 Empire War. Of course, there are also some powerful earthly soul treasures which have spiritual abilities. Whether you can obtain them or not depends on your destiny. As they were walking into the depths of the Lin clan, Lin Mu discussed about the clan trove with Lin Dong. Today, Lin Langtian will go into seclusion. If I'm not wrong, he will try to break through the advanced manifestation stage. Given his foundation, it won't be that difficult to make this breakthrough. When that moment comes, his power will once again increase dramatically. Lin Mu's tone suddenly changed and said coldly. Lin Clan's clan trove was located near the inner regions of the clan. There was an precipitous cliff, and Lin Dong and Lin Mu's footsteps stopped just right below the cliff. Surrounding the cliff were elegant pavilions, hidden among the lush and verdant vegetations, faintly discernible. It appeared that the surrounding was filled with tranquility. However, with a sweeping glance, Lin Dong could sense the strong presence of numerous powerful Lin clan fighters under the veil of tranquility. Given such a tight security, no wonder it was the forbidden area of the Lin clan. Right ahead of Lin Dong, there was a heavy and gigantic stone door carved into the wall of the cliff. There were faint waves of energy emitting from above the stone door. At the moment, there were a few elders standing outside the door. The person leading those elders was unexpectedly the black-robed elder who previously revealed his killer intent towards Lin Dong. This is Elder Lin Ji, who is also the person in charge of the clan trove, Lin Mu said to Lin Dong. Then, the former looked at the black-robed elder and requested, "Open the door." After hearing his words, a gloomy look appeared on the face of the black-robed elder. As much as he did not want Lin Dong to enter the treasure trove, he had no choice but to wave his hands since Lin Mu was acting under the orders of the clan leader. Seeing the black-robe elder wave his hand, those elders following his lead set into actions simultaneously and directed waves of energy towards the huge stone door. Suddenly, the door shuddered and a crevice began to appear slowly. Indistinctly, a terrifying wave of energy surged out from the crevice. "You cannot stay inside the clan trove for more than a month. Otherwise you shall pay the consequences. Also, when you leave, you are only allowed to bring only one treasure with you. Otherwise, all the treasures that you have obtained, inclusive of the one that originally belonged to you, will be confiscated." The black-robed elder, whose name was Lin Ji, looked at Lin Dong disdainfully and explained. "Even if Lin Dong has a lot of tricks up his sleeves, he will not escape today." "Yeah." Hearing what was said, the three elders nodded their heads solemnly. Shortly after they worked together, their hand seals began to change irregularly. 4 beams of light shot out from their hands into the light screen as they began to control the formations in the dark rumble. As 4 of them combined their powers, a terrifying shock wave broke out in the clan trove, setting off numerous arrays. Immediately, Lin Dong felt a huge restricting force sweeping from every directions. Immediately, his eyes sunk. The reason why Lin Ji dared to attack him was naturally because he was very confident of his own abilities. Based on their combined abilities, in addition to the formations, even he would find it tough to deal with him. In fact, if he was negligent, he might actually perish. "Lin Dong, do you see the light screen on the top of the cavern? That must be the focal point where they control the formations. As long as that focal point is destroyed, they will lose the ability to control the formations. Otherwise, with the huge number of formations here and the constant waves of attacks, you will be slowly drained to death." Little Martin's voice rang urgently through Lin Dong's mind as the latter was deflecting the light beams coming at him from all directions. After he heard what was said, Lin Dong raised his head abruptly. Indeed, he saw a dazzling radiance floating at the top of the cavern. Meanwhile, waves of telepathic thoughts emitted faintly from that area, these old fogies. A cold glint rushed into Lin Dong's eyes. The focal point was protected by numerous powerful formations, and it was not easy to destroy it in one go. Besides, Lin Ji and his counterparts would do their best to prevent it from being destroyed. They even hoped that Lin Dong would attack that strongest area, thereby making it easier for them to kill him. "Don't waste your energy on them. The more formations activated, the stronger their powers will be." Little Martin reminded. "Okay." Lin Dong nodded his head with a smirk on his face. Since these fogies were so irritating, then don't blame him for being vicious and merciless. As this thought flashed across his mind, Lin Dong changed his hand seal. Suddenly, a strong and ruthless killing aura rushed out from Lin Dong's Qinquan bag with an extreme speed. This killing aura was especially violent. Upon appearing, it caused the surrounding Yuan power to fluctuate vigorously. Without waiting for anyone to react, a streak of blood gushed out with a terrifying speed. Inside the tower, Lin Ji and the 3 other men's faces were pale, while there was a trail of blood on all their lips. As they stared at that exploding glowing canopy right in front of them, shock gushed into their eyes. The previous sight simply happened too quickly, and they had no idea what occurred at all. First, Lin Dong had broken through the central point of their defensive formation. Below, he blew it apart. After that, they lost control of the clan trove. "What is that bloody light? It is so terrifying, even the defensive formation could not stop it at all." An elder exclaimed in shock. "It looks like another attack executed by Lin Dong." Another elder somewhat uncertainly said, "Impossible. That little bastard is not capable of pulling off such a powerful attack. He must have used some hidden tricks." Lin Ji immediately grasped the situation and said. He absolutely did not believe that Lin Dong was capable of executing such a powerful attack. After all, their combined forces was enough to match up to a peak manifestation practitioner. If they still failed to halt Lin Dong's attack, then just how terrifyingly was the latter? The other three elders released a pained laugh as they stared at that exploding glowing canopy, before they said, "What should we do now? The central point has been destroyed and we are no longer able to find out what is happening inside the clan trove. If we entered into the clan trove to repair the central point now, that Lin Dong would probably attack us." Inside the clan trove, Lin Dong chuckled as he stared at that central point of the stone cave that he had just destroyed. After the central point was destroyed, the defensive formation had gradually begun to dim down. Evidently, someone was manipulating the strings behind this incident. "That old bastard Lin Ji, when I leave the clan trove, I will make you regret this." Lin Dong solemnly echoed. He was not one who would willingly allow others to take advantage of him. Since that Lin Ji wanted to kill him, he will make sure that the latter will pay for this. Right now, little Martin once again darted out from the stone talisman, before it sat on Lin Dong's shoulder. Its eyes swept across the clan trove, before it finally stopped at that bloody figure, filled with killing intent, hovering in mid-air. It was the blood soul puppet. It seems like Lin Dong was clearly aware of the might of the activated formation, therefore, he immediately summoned his blood soul puppet and lightning quick severed the connection that Lin Ji had with the clan trove. "First, recall this blood soul puppet. That fellow's killing intent is too overwhelming and you are completely unable to suppress it based on your current strength. Therefore, it cannot leave the stone talisman for too long, else you might suffer a backlash." Lin Dong secretly marveled inside his heart. These earthly soul treasures were truly extraordinary. Compared to the soul treasures that he had before, they were totally on a different level. Of the two remaining soul treasures, one was a black long spear. According to little Martin, that spear was forged from the bones of an ancient demon, and it was extremely sharp. Lin Dong took a glance at the tip of that spear. That black glint glimmering on its tip caused someone like him, who had mastered Great Sun Thunder Body, to feel a chill down his spine. If he were to fight against someone who had this black spear, he must be extra cautious, and he can no longer rely on his powerful physical body to defend himself. The final earthly soul treasure was a grey vest. The glow undulated on it faintly gave off the afterimage of an ancient bear. It seems like it was a defensive earthly soul treasure that did not lose out to that turtle's shell. After he finished examining these four soul treasures, Lin Dong could not help but salivate. Amongst the four of them, it seems like he fancied the black spear and the turtle's shell. Having one for offensive and the other to defend was a perfect match. If he could get both of them, his battle potential would undoubtedly surge. However, what caused him to hesitate was that he could only pick one of them. Therefore, he was at a slight loss currently. As he took a glance at that deco-like Black Hill statue, Lin Dong immediately looked away. However, as if his body was suddenly jolted, he suddenly turned back, before he stared right at that Black Hill-esque object. At that previous moment, he actually sensed a familiar sensation radiating from that object. That vibration caused Lin Dong to be shocked, and he no longer had the mood to care about the other four soul treasures. Immediately, he quickly took 2 steps forward before he stared right at that black hill, that seemingly possessed no spiritual powers at all. "What is that?" Lin Dong pointed at that black hill as he asked little Martin. That little Martin was stunned as it glanced at that mini black hill. Finally, it shook its head before it said, "That should be just a decor." One cannot blame little Martin for assuming so. After all the objects here were brimming with spiritual energy. Only that tiny hill sat all alone on top of the stone arena, and it seemed just like a decorative object. When he heard its words, Lin Dong slowly shook his head. Even though that sensation was extremely weak, he was certain that he was not mistaken. Immediately, he silently contemplated for a moment, before his palm gradually gripped onto that tiny black hill. Just as he tried to lift it up, a tinge of shock flashed across Lin Dong's eyes. That was because he realized that he was unable to move that tiny hill at all. With Lin Dong's strength, he could even lift a gigantic 1,000-pound rock. However, right now, this palm-sized mysterious tiny hill did not move at all. It seems like I am mistaken." When it saw this sight, little Martin's expression turned increasingly solemn. It was keenly aware just how powerful Lin Dong's physical body was. However, right now, this seemingly insignificant object was able to defy Lin Dong's physical strength. Therefore, it would be kind of silly to think of it as a mere decor. Excitement flashed across Lin Dong's eyes as he stared at that mysterious tiny black hill, before he slowly said, "That object should be your earthly soul treasure as well." This video will end here. Thank you for watching.